Well, out here at the boat, and as you can see, Transom's got a pretty nice fit. I think that'll do nicely. You know, we'll probably have about that much gap on either end, because I'm going to mount it about flush up to here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Doesn't need to be touching. You know, it's probably better because it'll help keep moisture out of the ends. And here's that cutting board. Well, one of them. I don't think it'll fit, you know, that way, but it seems like it'll do good that way, at least to stabilize right here behind the motor. What I may do is take both of them and, you know, take both of these bolts out, and then I should be able to... Yeah, that's about perfect. That's right, dead on the money in the middle. Should be able to shove both of these in here, you know, line them up, drill a hole through, and then put these two bolts, and then that should, you know, it won't give it too much stability because of, you know, the seam in the middle, so it'll still be able to do that. But it'll, you know, give it the backfill it needs. And, you know, honestly, looking at this, as I destroy all of this fiberglass, I should be able to shove a piece of 3/4 inch plywood in there pretty easily. But I'd rather use these cutting boards if they'll work. If they're going to be too thin, then, you know, I won't use them. I'll go with the plywood. Alright. So now we know my idea is not entirely stupid. So I think we'll move forward with that. Alright, so I found this 2-gallon gas can laying on the side of the road, and it's only got a small amount of leaves and rocks and dirt and shit in it. It had one old big ass Corona cum rag in it as well that I just pulled out with a set of extendo grips. And that's going to be the gas can for the Evinrude because I don't care, and it was free. Well, just over here looking at the carburetor, and I'm going to have to buy fuel lines because this is the supply line to the carburetor, and I just took that off, and that's what it did when I pulled it off of the carburetor. So yeah, that hose is not getting reused. I can't find anything online that tells me what size that is, but I just measured it and it appears to be 3/16, so that's what we're going to use. I think I might actually have some lying around for a chainsaw. Actually, I think it's over here in this case. I have a little bit of spare 3/16 in this guy. Don't think any of it's long enough though. I think it's all like 6 inches long, and I need about a 8 to 9 inch piece for that thing. But anyway, we're also going to build a motor stand because I'm sick of using that goddamn makeshift sawhorse I got it on, because that thing keeps tilting and trying to fall over and whatever, and I can't move the damn thing. So we're going to build one of these. And this here is a design by Mr. D. Hayes Jr., which I like pretty good. And whenever I find designs like these that I'm going to build something, I always go through and find out deficiencies, inefficiencies within the production and modify the design in some small or significant way in order to make it more efficient, more cost effective. And this is no exception, although I only really found one small deficiency in here. Well, I guess kind of two. And that is the length of these boards right here, which are these guys, D. It's a 2x4 that's 31 inches with an 8-degree cut on the end. And, you know, that's all fine and dandy. I'm sure he picked 31 inches for a very specific reason, because that's such an arbitrary number. It's probably like gives you just a bit more slop with the type of casters he had in order to fit like a 40 horse motor or something like that and still clear the ground. But it also messes something up. Now, I went out here, and this is another thing I always do. I always plot out all the lumber and all the cuts onto graph paper. It's my own actual graph paper design that I made it work in Excel in order to, you know, do stuff. And this is where I noticed that deficiency, is if you make these two boards 31, you can't cut it out of an 8-foot 2x4, because you end up with, after you get everything else measured out, you end up with the board being 98 inches instead of 96. And I figured if I drop these down to 30 inch or 29 and a half if need be, but I think 30 inch will be fine, I can cut all 4 of these boards out of one single continuous 8-foot 2x4 and not lose any slop. And also the height of these 18-inch boards is also dependent on the height of these, so I could take a ½ inch off of everything if need be. As long as I'm taking an even amount out of all the boards. Like, I could drop these down to 30.5 and these down to 17.5 and it'd still work. And that's the height of these 2 boards right here that then holds the mock transom, which then mounts to this board and that board right there. As you see, it doesn't mount at the top, so it doesn't really matter if this loses another inch. Yeah, so this is why I always do that, because a lot of engineers and stuff who make these designs for fun, they don't think about the production step, the next level stuff, which is how it actually works, producing it. Some of them do. I always make sure I do. Whenever, like when I did the cotton gins and a bunch of other stuff, I always plot out all the measurements on wood, and I see where I have leftover scrap wood, and I try and make everything work with as few tools as possible, using as little new purchased wood as possible. And I did all that, and it didn't fucking matter because I had a bunch of scrap wood that I salvaged from work, and I have slightly longer boards for every single one of these, so I didn't have to do any of that. Yeah, I even have a 2x12, an exactly 2-foot 2x12, which I'm going to swap out for these 2x6s, and that'll be a little more strong, and it also means that I can make up for this difference in height by, say, taking this down to 30, leaving this 18, and then just bumping the transom board up an inch. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I don't have them fancy casters, but I do have wheels off of an office chair, and we're going to use those. And if they don't work, I'll just go out and buy some casters. So yeah, that's enough rambling on that. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm not really going to show you that process. I'm just show you it when it's built, and then bitch about stuff that I didn't like about building it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the other deficiency I saw, and that's this board. Just to be fancy, he decided to list this as having an 8-degree angled cut along the entirety of the bottom, so that when you cut these at an 8-degree, it'll put them like that, and then you cut an 8-degree cut off of the back of that, and then it fits flush up against it, and it looks nice. Well, that requires whoever's building this to have a table saw to be able to do that, and that's a completely separate tool that you got to add to the job that really doesn't add much. And my thought is to just not do that. It's 8 degrees, doesn't matter that much. The alternative is that you can cut an 8-degree cut off of the tip of this thing. You can put the board straight in the saw like that, and then set it to 8 degrees and snip 8 degrees off the end, and then you'll have an 8-degree and an 8-degree, and that'll square that back up, and then you can slide it up there flush. That's a lot easier, and you can do that with a chop saw like I'm going to be doing. Or alternatively, what you can do is you can take this board and you can take chop saw, set it at an 8-degree cant, and then slice one slice at each end, and then take a handsaw or something similar and just cut at 3.5 inches in order to give you a cutout on each end, and then you don't have to plane the entire dang thing. Yeah, see, like that's something that's done, just to be fancy. And whenever I do one of these blueprints, I don't do it this detailed. Mine are really shitty. I always add a comments page that just says, like, hey, whatever you do, make sure you do this or you'll screw everything up. Or, hey, this is just for aesthetics. This is just for flair. If you need to swap this out for some, if you don't got the wood or something like that, or you don't got the tool, you can do this however the hell you want. It's not crazy necessary. It's, stuff like that. Just like that, we got a motor stand. Those things seem to kind of sort of work, these office chair casters. Just drilled out like some 5/16 hole or something approximate to that. Well, I guess 7/16 hole, something like that. Then just beat them in there with a bolt. Kind of works. Don't have a way to lock it though. I guess just throw a damn cinder block in front of it. It ain't rocket surgery. So yeah, it's Been raining like a sun bitch off and on, so we're just gonna leave that till another day. But we got stand now. Ooh. And it looks like I was right. I do indeed have some 3/16 line left over, but yeah, I think that's only... Actually, I think that's 1/8 inch. Yeah, that is 1/8 inch. Damn, I have to buy some more. Plus, it's only about 6 inches. Well, hell, guess I'm going shopping. Hey, look at that. Motor's on stand now. And it rolls. Run. Not bad. Yeah, it's even balanced. That's pretty good. So we're going to tear into this carburetor and just see what nightmares are inside of that float board. I'm sure it'll be nightmarish. Moment of truth. Oh. Oh. Well. Oh, that's cork. Wow. Tasty. Molasses. Well, on the upside, the needle's free, so we don't have to worry about that. And I was able to take the gasket off in one piece. Don't know how I'm going to clean this cork float, but I'll probably just wipe it and then forget about it. But we're going to try and take that off and clean everything else out, because I'm sure there's ants inside of the passageways. And there she is, nice and clean. I didn't clean on the float too much just because I'm kind of worried about breaking that cork. But it's cork, so it should be resistant to the carb cleaner. It is wood, after all. And yeah, the float is sitting practically level. The seat on the needle actually looks really good. I even got the gasket off in, one piece, and it still feels rubbery and pliable. So I guess that's the upside of a two-stroke, is it's got all that two-stroke oil laying around in it. Cleaned all the crud out of there, and deep down in there. And, yeah, I'm not going to worry about that scale too much. Yeah, I even sprayed stuff down into the jet and got it to come out. Sprayed stuff into the seat and got it to come out. I think carb's fine. The ants didn't seem to get into it, which is good. I mean, they would have had to climb through the jet, so that makes sense. So we're just going to put that back together and forget about it and start paying attention to the intake. I think I'm going to have to pull the intake off to try and chase these ants. We'll see about that. Okie dokie, we're back here working on the transom. Got all the hardware off, and just now noticing this has had a transom repair before, because this whole piece has been just cut out. And I'm noticing back here that this has all been cut out, and these have been lopped off. And yeah, when they did it, they must not have used treated, because it's pulled all of that out, and there's nothing in here. But luckily, it does go down to a shelf, so I don't have to worry about the integrity. I just have to put something in here that'll hold everything up. And this fiberglass is still in decent shape. It's just the top that's gone. And there's this big hole in here because for some reason there's holes in here. And I don't know why there's holes in there unless they just absolutely cranked on them damn motor mounts till they just cut holes in the aluminum. So yeah, what I'm going to do is take this and just jam it in there and call it a day. And all I need it to do is just be wide enough to cover those two holes. And then when I put that over the top of that, it'll just clamshell down on there and it'll be fine. And then and that'll be, extra thick like it is on the John boat. It'll be this wide. And when I cinch down on that with the motor, it'll just squish everything together all nice like. So yeah, I'm gonna get to doing that. Can't do those because they're just not, thick enough. I guess I could double layer them like that, slide that in there. May actually do that, but I think that'll be too thick because, yeah, these are like 1/2 inch and that's 3/4. So those together is 1 inch, plus that's 3/4, plus these two things of fiberglass. I think that's going to be too wide for the the motor. I think the motor can only clear like 2 inches, and that'll make it more than 2. But it can clear that and that, because it did that on the John boat. So that's what we're going with. And yeah, just gonna shove crap in there, and then sit her down in here, slide her up, get her nice and even, drill out these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 holes, and just snug that up. You know, I don't actually know if this guy has enough room. Yeah, I can set that in there, but I'm not going to have a way to bolt it in place. So that's kind of annoying. If I had a bigger piece, I'd do that, but I don't think I have one lying around. I'll go check, I guess. I know I've got some decking lumber, but that's too thick. We'll see. If I have sufficiently sized scraps, I'll just shove a piece down in there. And if not, we'll go with that. Because I do have those things, so once those clamp down, it'll be fine. We'll use that. We'll just run with it. I don't care. That looks miserable, terrible, like an absolute, complete, jerry-rigged hack job. But it's mildly firm. That's choice. That's perfect. We're going to run with that. This is just up here because I don't have a rivet gun or rivets with me. And yeah, we'll just stick that right back on, right there. And so this board sticks up about a good 1/4 of an inch, so we'll ignore it or come out here with the reciprocating saw and go like this and like that and that and this and that. And yeah, nothing that a can of spray paint and a tub of Bondo can't fix. And yeah, it's in very solid. You know, we've got... Actually, that's not bad, but, you know, first time you put a motor on it and go hit some wakes, I'm sure that'll just take the whole back of the boat off. But it'll band-aid it until I can make it somebody else's problem at the very least. Or at least put a motor in it and test to see if it floats. And we'll come back to that on a later date, because I want to take this out and get a board that's, you know, that long, like an 18-incher or something, and cut this fiberglass out and slide that in there. Make that, you know, a little bit better. I at least want it to cross these bolts. And I need to get some washers for these. Yep, need 1 there, 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. And do all that. And I need to get 5200 and coat everything just so that if this back sinks down, stuff doesn't start flowing in through the bolt holes. But we'll only do the 5200 if that tube I have is still good. And if it's not good, we'll just use it anyway. We'll just, you know, dump it down in there. Heck, we might even just pour some Bondo in there. That's too expensive. We're not going to do that. But yeah, that's how it's going. I may get 2 more bolts and do that. I don't know. But that's all I'm doing today with this transom. Just wanted to make sure everything would fit, figure out what my next steps are, and that's get some more stainless steel washers and get a bigger board to stick in there. That shouldn't be a problem. And bring back the rivet gun. Alright, well, it's raining now, but I got the other winch on, and if you look very closely, you'll notice that it's on backwards. And to that I say, shut up, nerd. And also, it doesn't fit if I put it on correctly, so I reversed it, which means it's on right, because it doesn't fit otherwise. And yeah, don't know what size that nut used to be, but it's 13mm now, and everything else is 14mm, and by that I mean 9/16, because I only have metric wrenches here for some stupid reason. I don't know why. I should probably fix that. And yeah, there's the old one. Both sides of the gear spin just fine. Now that I'm trying to show you, they won't do it, but yeah. What's weird is that the shaft does not spin. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, I just sistered this rope into this rope with a trusty old Gunter's knot. If you don't know what a Gunter's knot is, neither do I. I didn't join the Boy Scouts because I didn't like having to wear those gay short shorts. So I'm just going to winch this up, and of course it doesn't clear, and we'll just ignore it. And I'll come back to this at a later date. But transom is now on, and the winch is now on, and we'll leave it there. Uh-oh, he better do it. fucked up, my man. Well, the 5200 is right boogered. I'm at the point where if I squeeze any harder on this Colt gun, it's gonna break the gun in half. And she hasn't budged an inch, so she's fucked. And I couldn't even get the nugget out the end of the Colt gun, so that's annoying. So we're just gonna have to run this transom with no sealant. And here's the little board I got. The stuff down in there, 20 inch by 7.5, and we're gonna swap what's in there out with that. So yeah, got some stainless steel washers too. Just a matter of sticking it together. Well, we got the new internal transom in there. She goes from there to about there, and yeah, so I just cut the tube of 5200 open and then just used that there anti-water hobo knife and just slathered it all up inside of there wherever I could get it without any real care or concern in the world. And drilled those two holes out. And I'm just going to put the plates and the bolts back on and cinch it all up and call it a day. Just let that cure. And that'll be the end of the transom. And just like that, transom is fixed. That's better than it was. It's, dare I say, serviceable. So yeah, that's right ugly, but we'll ignore it and make it somebody else's problem. So I think I'm done working on this boat. Now I gotta move on to getting these bunk boards fixed on the trailer. But that's a problem for another day. So if you like this kind of garbage, remember to subscribe, like, comment down below. I won't read it, but make you feel better. You can vent, tell me how much of a dumbass I am. I won't read it. So yeah, go hog wild. Tom out. You know, I don't know what's in this boat water, but it kills yellow jackets. This is like the 4th and 5th one I found in here in the last week. So I might keep this boat around just to keep the dang yellow jackets out. Yeah. But I'm also kind of scared to keep it around because I feel like if I don't wash my hands after I work on this, I'm going to die of something. I don't know what. Lead poisoning? Arsenic? Plague? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out.